All right, everyone. Happy New Year. All I can say is let's make this year the best year ever. I'm definitely happy to get away from 2013. And having said that, just found out that Kim Kardashian is pregnant. And one of the things that I wanted to do was to do a little homage to her and the way I would imagine to see her look while she's pregnant. I think a softer, more beautiful, smoky eye, but a softer version. So I want to do a demo for you guys just so that you could use that as a source of inspiration. So, anyway, so what I'm doing with Andrea, who's my lovely model today, I am actually taking down a lot of the red. She's got a lot of red in her skin that needs to be calmed down, and yet she's got a lot of yellow in her skin. So what I'm doing is I'm actually putting more yellow in her skin and basically calming the fire and bringing the warmth out. So it looks a little yellow right now, but you'll see I'm doing all the color correcting right now, and it's gonna really make a huge difference. So I am just going over that carefully with the the brush, and I'm using actually a dual color corrector foundation, so that way I don't have to put so many layers, and it really will create a nice warm but even tone and flawless finish. So, and you'll see how this develops because it really does take um, some effort to make sure it's all blended in and everything like that. So, but this, going back to Kim Kardashian look, this is really, I feel, also what's going to happen a lot more this year with the looks because we've gone through so many different little changes with, makeup and colors and all that stuff. But I really believe that the smoky eyes, a lot of it's going to become much more softer version of it. We went through a really kind of heavy version, and I really believe that the the heaviness is going to diminish and it's going to be much more softer. I don't think a lot's going to change, other than maybe the eyes are going to be softer, but the lips may stay a lot more heavier. So, but this one I'm going to go more with the beigey naturals with everything in the smoky eyes. It's still very elegant, it's still very smoky, but it's much more neutral and much more softer. And this is definitely, I'm actually seeing Kim Kardashian wear her eyes much softer these days, perhaps maybe since she got pregnant. And I think it's kind of a maternal thing too, but not really. I mean, I think so many young girls that are into makeup are starting to do this too. So now I'm taking my wet dampened sponge and I'm going to blend everything in, and look at how that's taking down that heat, and it's really just blending everything in and making everything really even. And one of the things that we have to understand is when you're doing foundation work, you have to understand how important it is to really draw out the even tones, but at the same time, really get the best color out of the skin, because that really makes a huge difference on the way the skin looks, the way the skin appears. And so this is a really tricky part of makeup because a lot of people don't realize it's not just putting color on, it's not just putting foundation on. You really have to learn how to match it. And one of the things that I teach at my school at MKC Beauty Academy, and also the private training and the online classes, um, is we go into depth about that, the different levels, the different application levels, the different um, degree of what you do for different areas of the industry, which is really, really important. If you're interested, you can go to www.mkcbeautyacademy.com, and you can click on all the courses and all that stuff. And then if you're interested in doing privates with me, you can definitely call the number or also email, and we can definitely review it and everything like that. I get students from all over the world, and it's really amazing. You can also become a go to our MKC Beauty Academy page on Facebook. So, definitely check us out. It's a great way to really get into the industry. A lot of my alumni are doing amazing. In fact, one of my alumni has a cover of Health Magazine with Jenny Garth, Kelsey Denahan. She's amazing, and she's one of my proteges as well. And I have many, many other amazing stories. And the great thing is our alumni go out and work. Our ratio of our alumni graduating and working in the industry is very, very high worldwide. So anyway, so definitely go to mkcbeautyacademy.com and check it out. So going back to Kim Kardashian, and this look is really, 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 I would say, a look that a lot of people are going to be wearing on different levels. You can even do this in various color schemes. And so when we get into the shadow part of this, you'll definitely see what I'm talking about. But right now I'm building up the foundation, and you can see just from the beginning, if you start back in the beginning to, you can scroll the thing from the beginning to the end, and you can see how her skin just warms up, even tones, but it doesn't look crazy, even though it looked like I was putting some yellow on. See, that's where I'm talking about. It's like you just don't know until you really know exactly how it's going to look. When you're doing makeup, one of the things that I have to really, really stress is you always have to keep in mind how the person is going to turn out before you actually do it, and use that as a roadmap. Because if you just aimlessly put makeup on someone's face, or your face for that matter, and not know what the final end product's going to look like, you have a recipe for disaster sometimes. So it's really important to visualize and really know and really plan out the ingredients that you're going to put on your face. Map it out, create that recipe, create that roadmap, because and you need to have an inspiration vehicle. Now, just because you look in a magazine and you see different celebrities and different looks and models and things like that, doesn't mean that you look like them, but you can still have that same inspiration. You just have to design it to your type of face or the type of face you're working on. So really, really important steps. So, I'm just giving you some tricks of the trade, things that I definitely teach, and I want you to just keep in mind, because my goal as your teacher is to make sure you can do the best makeup ever on yourself or on anyone else. So what I'm doing here is I'm putting fallout powder, and the fallout powder is a preventative measure to make sure that whenever you get so many droppings from the shadow, it sits on top of the powder, and then you can brush it right off. It's really a great trick. And this is my wonderful complexion brush that I use. I love my complexion brush. It's a brush that I've been using forever and a day, and I just think it's one of the greatest brushes in the world. So now that I have everything set and blended, as you can see, I never blend or set the eyes. I just leave it straight with the foundation, because when you're doing eyeshadow and you already set the eyes, it really doesn't give the same kind of payout. Okay, so now I am putting highlighter right underneath the brow bone, and I'm using the shadows and light technique. And so I'm really architecting using the shadows and light technique, because not only do I want to do this great look on her, but I want her to look her best. And that's one of the greatest things about learning the shadows and light technique, is that you really learn how to architect the face by using very minimal makeup to very extreme levels. No matter what, your subject or yourself are going to look their absolute best. It's learning how to architect using makeup. And it's one of the greatest tricks that I have that I can teach, and it's so foolproof. And I mean, I see my alumni using this technique, and I see what they do with their models, and it's like, whoa, it's really beautiful. So, but here I'm giving you a little glimmer of the technique of this look. So this is the highlighting. I'm actually creating more of a yellow warm feel. I'm using yellow tones, Even the browns that I'm going to use on this is going to have a very warm yellow tone brown, because I'm still keeping it neutral and I'm not going really heavy. And I'm doing some gradation. I'm doing some different levels of subtle levels of gradation to create the shadows and light technique to really bring the best out in her face. So here I'm actually using the primary color, which is it's kind of a taupey brown with a gold in it, and so it's a mixture of different tones. And I'm actually mixing brown and a gold, so that's why it's not a color. And that's something that I really stress, is that you can never get one color sometimes, so you have to really learn how to become that scientist, the chemist, and really create your own. And all of this is in my head. I already know what she's going to look like, so I'm just kind of formulating everything based on what I want to achieve. So see how that just goes really beautiful, and it really brings her green eyes out. This is going to really bring her green eyes out so much more. So I'm adding a little bit more fallout powder. And this is another thing that I really want to stress to you, is when you're doing makeup, allow the face to really kind of take with the makeup. Makeup needs time to develop. Makeup needs time to really set into the oils of the skin. So, it takes some time to really see the trueness of what the outcome's going to look like by letting the skin really take to it. And if you create a nice foundation work, it really will all kind of meld together, which is nice. So here I'm just adding a little bit more brown in the eyeshadow, just to kind of perk it out a little bit more. And I like to really add blend. That's just me, because I want everything to look really kind of uniformed and balanced. And as you see, I do both eyes at the same time. Some people have different ways, but I really believe that by doing both eyes at the same time, you're going to get a better symmetry and balance. So okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more now to the lower part of the lid, and then I'm just going to go right in the center and see. So it's just layering upon layering, because this is really creating a build. So now I'm going to go into the highlighter again, and I'm going to just add and blend, just to smooth out that and create a little bit more gradation. So I'm going to blend that in. So I use a fluffy brush with the highlighter, and then I use a flat brush when I put darker colors for the pigments. And so whenever you want to put like more intense colors in the eyes, you want to use a flatter brush. If you want to blend and soften, you use a fluffy brush. Okay, so see how that brush is just flat and rounded, and it's a great way to add color. So now I'm going really into, and I'm actually putting a little bit more straight brown without any shimmers into the inner crease of the eye. And I'm bringing it out just a touch, because I don't want anything too rounded. I want everything to kind of be kind of a blended gradation. I don't want it to have heaviness. And if you look at Kim Kardashian's makeup, she does different variations of smoky eye. So, a lot of times she does wear the blacks, but I think during the days or when she wants to feel softer, this is a really kind of typical look that she would do. Of course, this is my inspiration version. It's not the way nobody could do anyone's makeup exactly the same way. We're all so different. Okay, so I'm taking my flat, straight brush, and I'm putting a very, very dark brown, and I'm going right on the lash line. And I'm just going right on it. It's not so black dark brown. It's more of like a soft dark brown. It's not the heavy kind, but I'm just rimming the eyeliner on the eyelash, just a little bit. I'm actually I put a little bit of gold just so that it just kind of pulls it all together. And I'm gonna line this with a darker as well, just to kind of punch it out, but I don't want it to be super heavy. I don't want it to have that super heavy look. So now, as you can see, I'm going right on the lash line, and I'm just going to go right underneath there and just blend it all in. See how it just kind of blends it all in. There we go. And see how that just rims it. Just going to go right in the center. I just want to round it out all the way around the eyes. All the way around. Because this is a look that is really, you're building. And you're blending and building and blending and building. So you don't want to go too intense. So I'm just going to brush off that stuff with the fallout powder. So great with the fallout powder. It's such a great trick. Okay, so now that I am doing that, I'm going to let it sit for a couple of minutes. As you can see, Miss Andrea is a goofball. So, okay, now I'm going to do some last minute touch-ups, because now that the oil's really set into the skin, you can really see where it needs a little touch-up. And she's got a little blemish area on her chin, so I want to clean that up. So I'm going to add a little bit more fallout powder, because now I'm going to use powder liner. I'm not going to use a pencil. Like I said, I am much more about lining with powder rather than with pencils. That's just me. But you can certainly use it with a pencil as well, a soft one, because you want to blend it out. And I'm going right on the lash line, right on the intense area of the lash line, and I'm putting a super dark brown. I'm not going all the way black, but pretty close to black. It's a black brown. And I'm not pulling it out like Kim Kardashian tends to really pull it out. I'm actually just going to blend it out a little bit. And see how that just is really rimming the eyes? Okay, so I'm going to do that as well on the other eye. And you can see, and go right from the beginning of the inner lid to the outer lid. Okay, and go follow right on the lash line. And use a flat brush if you want to get a really precise edge to it. Just right there. See how that goes? And then what I do is I go right into the lash line and then pull up just to smudge it out a little bit more, because I don't want that heaviness. I don't want that really kind of linery look. I just want it to have a gradation, and I want it to look like it's supporting everything else I'm doing. Then what I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna blend it out into the outer parts, and I'm just gonna pull that out just a touch more. Just pull it up. So as you see, I'm using the technique where I'm pulling it up. I'm pulling it up, pulling it up. Okay. So now I'm gonna go in the underneath, and I'm gonna follow the lash line all the way, and I'm not gonna go so intensely into the eyes. I'm just gonna go right into the medium point. Okay, go right in the medium mid-level point of the eye, right there. I'm gonna stop right there, because I don't want to go all the way out, because I really want her eyes to pull out using the shadows light technique. I want the eyes to create an optical illusion. So now I'm going to go with the softer brown, and I'm just going to put that underneath the dark, and it gives it a nice gradation. And I'm going to pull that into the inner part of the eyes as well, so that it all looks really uniformed and blended together. I'm going to use my fingers a little bit to blend. So I'm using the rounder brush, and I'm pulling that right in the inner part of the the outer part of the crease, and I'm just bringing that out a little bit. Let's see, I'm just pulling it and blending it out. Pulling it and just blending it out, just to create a soft edge. Look how pretty that's looking. Look at how it's so blended, but yet it's very dramatic, and it's very soft at the same time, but very provocative. It's got a lot of qualities to this look, and yet it's such a look that you could wear day and night. You can wear it to casual as well as elegant events. You can even, I'm gonna put a light, like a monotone beigey lip tone to it, but you can go with a really heavy lip and it'll look wonderful. Um, and if you want to really kick it up, you can even put some individual lashes on it, and that really will make it much more glamorous. I'm just gonna really use her own lashes, curling it, and that's really important because you really want to get that extra length out and curl. So I'm just gonna get a little bit more bend on the lashes. There we go. And I'm going to use super, super black mascara. And this is really another great way to really perk the smoke out in the eye. Just using like super, super black mascara. And I love this because it really still keeps a natural look to it, but at the same time, it is so elegant and so beautiful. And if anything, I think Kim Kardashian tends to sometimes wear her makeup a little too heavy. She's got a beautiful face, and sometimes too much doesn't always mean a good thing, especially if you're, you know, at a more casual place. You don't need to go that heavy. So, anyway, so I'm going into the lower lash line, and this is something that, you know, I think it's subjective. People have different views on lashes. I like lashes, but I definitely tend to go more with the natural lashes. If they can afford to have just their own natural lashes, on with the look like this, then I say go for it. So now I'm gonna go into the liner again with the black. And because one thing I have to say is some people, and such as Andrea's skin, absorbs color like crazy. And you'll notice that when you start working with different types of skin types. And this just really perks it up. So I'm just going to go right into right there. I'm just going to add, this kind of gives us some more oomph to it. It just kind of picks it up. And see how it's just really, really now starting to go into the whole look of what I'm trying to achieve with this smoky eye. Still very soft, not too heavy, but very pretty. And as this wears a little bit more, you'll see how it'll just start looking more natural. So, okay, so now I'm just going to go right in the outer and go right into right there. I'm just going to pull out. I'm going to go again over the highlighting just to give it a little bit more payout on that. And it's starting to really build. Look how pretty that's looking. It's really, really, really bringing the essence into what I'm achieving with this look. And so I'm going to go right there with the gold brown just to give it a little bit more quality of the brown, because everything just starts to absorb so much as she starts wearing it. So you want to make sure that she has a good level of application on, because she's going to wear this all day. Okay, so I'm going to wipe off all the fallout, and I'm just going to set those areas that needs those extra little settings. And I'm just going to clean that area up. And see, there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the brows, and I'm using a short, flat, straight brush. Now, I cut my own brushes, so because to me, I also paint. So one of the things that I like to do is I like to design brushes that really will help me achieve what I want. And so if you find a brush that's not quite close enough, then you can customize it by cutting it yourself, as I have done here. So this is a brush that had a longer edge to it, and I just trimmed it down because I wanted a more stubbier edge. And this is great to apply eyebrows and liner and all that stuff, so it really works well. So I'm adding the dark powder, and then I'm brushing it in, adding the dark powder and brushing it in, just to create a really nice, soft, but supported eyebrow. And look at how pretty that's looking. Look at how it's really supporting the smokiness of the eyes. And I know many of you are gonna be wearing this look a lot because it is something you can wear all the time. And once you practice, you can master it for sure. You can practice this and master it, and you can do a lot of different variations to it. Now, going back to what I was talking about earlier, um, really important is that if you wanted to use this technique and use different levels of color, you can do that. You can do this with purples, you can do this with pinks, blues, greens, utilizing different gradations of each color. And really pretty if you did. Maybe what I'll do is I'll do a purple version of this, or a green version, or like a peacocky green would be beautiful. Maybe that's something I'll do. Um, I will definitely do much more in the coming months, so I promise you will get a lot. But make sure to subscribe. That's the key thing. Make sure to subscribe because I want to get some inspiration from you guys. You guys, please tell me what you want me to demo, and I'll shoot it and I'll demo it. And because I have a lot of different looks, and I have a lot of difficult looks that I can definitely do, and I don't want to overwhelm you guys with that. Um, but I can definitely do some runway looks. I've been doing a lot of celebrity inspired looks, but anything, just let me know and I will definitely demo it. But you must subscribe because that's the only way I'm going to be able to make sure you can see it and you can get it. Okay, so here, now the eyebrows are done, I'm just supporting the eyebrows now. See how her skin just absorbs that? So I'm just going to now really give it a little bit more payout from the highlighter because I really want to bring the browns out. And by doing that, the light really accentuates and accents, like I said, the browns. And it just really brings it out so pretty. It's such a romantic look. It's such a sexy look. And yet it's such a nice neutral look too, even though it's very glamorous. And I'm just going to go now right underneath and just blend that all together. Blend, 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 people. Don't forget, and practice, practice, practice. Those are two words that I say over and over again. Blend, 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 and practice, practice, practice. Because practice will make you perfect. And, okay, so now I'm going to just do the last minute cleanup, and I'm going to go into doing some blush. We're almost there, you guys. Almost there, okay? I promise. And, okay, now that we got that. Okay, so what we're going to do after this is all set and blended, and I'm just prepping the face a little bit more, just so we have a nice clean balance. And, okay, here we go. Go all the way down the neck, on the ears and the forehead, into the hairline. Make sure everything looks really blended. Look how pretty she's looking. My God. Really, really transforming into, a great look. Okay, so now I'm asking Andrea to make like a fish. So that means to suck your cheeks in. And I'm going really into the inner part of her cheekbones, which is the lower part. So if you feel your cheekbones, you can feel the dip. I'm going right into the dip. So as you can see right here, I'm using a fluffy brush, and I'm using a color that's it's like a rosy peachy color. So whatever shade that you think works for your skin tone or whoever's face you're working on, something that's soft and rosy and more nutmeggy. You want something that has a little bit more warm tones to it. And I'm going right now into the apples a little bit more, but I really brought it out into the cheeks. Okay, so now I'm going to just blend that in. Just blend that in. There you go. Look how soft that looks. And I'm just going to add a little bit more because her skin eats it up. And then I'm going to go right with a smaller blending brush And with that blush color, I'm going to go right in the crease. See how that pulls together? Same color I used on the cheeks. I'm just going to go right in the crease of her eye, like that. And just on the outer crease, not in the inner crease, the outer crease. And look at how it just pulls it together. See how pretty that is? It's a really great way to balance. So now I'm putting some highlighting powder right on the top part of her cheek, right underneath her eyes, on the bridge of her nose, and on her chin. And this, what this does, it just gives it a little bit more shimmer. Because you know that Kim Kardashian has that really kind of shimmery, kind of dewy skin. And this gives it that dewy feel. And it reflects light. So I'm using a little highlighting powder. See? And now I'm going to go with the lips. So I'm going to go with the nude beigey pinky. It has a little bit of like a rosy beige. That's what it is. It's very flesh tone. And I'm using a gloss. It's a high pigmented gloss. So it does have good pigmentation of color. But it's still sheer enough where it doesn't overwhelm or make the lips too heavy. But it's such a pretty look. It's still color, but it's so natural, neutral. But like I said, you can definitely go more intense with the color, and you can go with the kind of the oxblood color. You can go with a pink, with a vibrant kind of day glowy color. I mean, you can do so much, so much. You can go really vamp with this. You can go brown. My suggestion is don't go so matte with it. Go with a little bit of shimmer or gloss, because it really does bring the shimmers out in the eyes as well. But there's really no rules, but my suggestion. And so there you go. Look at this Kim Kardashian look. I really believe that this is such a great inspiration for her New Year's look and her having a baby, and we want to congratulate her. But there you go. This is my version of Kim Kardashian's smoky eye look for 2013 and her glowing pregnancy inspiration to keep her looking glamorous and beautiful. And I hope all of you guys try this, practice, and do this look as much as you can, and you will definitely perfect it. And look how pretty that is, and sexy. And go out and have a great New Year's and accomplish everything and then some. Okay? Stay tuned for more. I'm going to be coming up with more looks, so stay tuned and definitely subscribe. Happy New Year.